I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me. I'm gonna dance by myself like nobody's watching. Don't really care if my rhythm's off, 'cause I'm gonna dance like nobody's watching me.
And good morning, my little crochets, and welcome to the crochetcrowd.com. I'm your host, Mikey. This is broadcast today is only to YouTube this morning, and I was looking back. Crocheter actually contacted me yesterday, asking me for some resources that I think I might have had, but I wasn't sure, so I declined immediately yesterday because they were asking something that I didn't provide to somebody else. But then I was thinking about it overnight, and I realized that I actually have a resource for this crocheter, but I have never written the pattern for it. And so on our cruises, one of our guests taught how to do the fillet crochet on an angle. And we actually have a pattern called Lucky 7. And Lucky 7 is based on the number 7, of course. And that, I believe that was designed by Jeannie for that. So I was kind of revisiting back. I had to open up the server to see what was going on. And in the server, I realized that I still had the crochet diagram that I did. So you can tell, so this diagram was drawn by me in 2020, and you can see that this is not to the standard of crochet diagrams that I know how to do today. So I would not necessarily put up this diagram because it's embarrassing as hell, because I have learned a lot in my journey. So that's what we have here. Is there an email I can contact you to design a pattern for over 2,000 people looking for? You can contact us through our website of thecrochetcrowd.com. Just put in the search button, contact Mikey, but just know that I'm probably a year before I'll even get to it. I have some designing I have to do for Yarn Inspiration, so it depends on the interest and also the yarn. The yarn industry is a bit unstable right now with everything going on in the world. So I'm trying to hold on for dear life myself, because a lot is changing in the world of crochet. So yeah, so that's kind of what we have going on. So so I can see your comments as I'm writing today. So my goal is to write out this pattern that I did in diagram format. So if you know me well, you know that I diagram my stuff out before I actually write the pattern. And so this was done by me. Look how pedestrian this is. I can't even do a turn. But learning how to do the crochet diagrams on computer was really, really difficult to do. Some people expect the diagrams to be done, but yeah. So what we need to do is that we need to convert this diagram into words. And I'm not going to worry about changing color, because this is actually just a solid color kind of concept, and we can begin to do that. So what we need to do is we need to put this to writing. So the key to writing the diagram or the patterns is to make it short and make it simple and to the point. So not a lot of words like and, the, but. And if you're going to do tips, you got to keep it nice and simple. One of the things that I've learned over the years is that I never classified myself as a designer until like the 2021 area, maybe 22, because even though I started in 2008, I did not understand a lot of stuff. And so some people will come along and they'll design a couple of patterns, and then they'll say they're a crochet designer, which is good for them. But I felt like it was a cheat for myself to label myself as a designer without enough skill set behind me. So if somebody asks me a question, I can usually answer it pretty good, which I think makes you part of a designer, where it's more than just a few rows of instruction. So there you go. So so Angela is going to be coming to see me here. We have a crochet adventure coming up in thing, but she's talking about our mystery event. We have a mystery crochet event happening in the United States somewhere. I don't know where it is yet. So if anybody knows, don't tell me what it is, because I don't want to get the surprise ruined. I'm showing up on the plane. We're going to find out the morning of departure before I leave Nova Scotia where it is, because I'm going to have to find out where this retreat is and declare it with customs and as I cross the border. So that's going to be kind of fun, and we'll do that. So we're going to continue along, and we're going to make this pattern. Yeah. So let's begin, and we're going to start. So the standards of writing crochet patterns is actually determined by the Yarn Craft Council of in the United States. They're based out of Florida, and what they do is they determine how you are to speak when it comes to writing these patterns. But every company has their own yarn standards, they call it. And what this means is that how they write the pattern is standard within the company itself. So because I've been with Yarn Inspirations so long, I write within the standards of Yarn Inspirations so that you're not able to really tell if it was me that wrote it or whether it was one of their designers, because we all follow the same standards. So I started writing for a magazine out of the United States, and their style guide is different than Yarn Inspirations. So they'll never say first round. They always say round 1, round 2, where Yarn Inspirations is always first round, second round. And also Yarn Inspirations, they never put like brackets with the stitch counts that are provided. They just put the stitch count without brackets. So they keep it nice and simple. And so because of that, I have a hard time writing for different companies when it comes to that kind of stuff. Does that make any sense today? I don't know. So that's what we're doing today. So we're going to begin, and we always start off with our very beginning. And what I need to do is that I need to look at what the instructions are going to be. And one thing that I'm going to change, because I absolutely hate it already, is that because I've gotten stronger in the design, I hate when the end of a round is part of it. So I'm going to change it because I'm allowed to, because I'm in design phase right now. I don't like when the chain is at the end of a round. I think it looks like shit. So I'm going to change that going forward. And so this diagram, the public will never see it other than you're here online, right? So what I need to do is just kind of ignore where this is and begin and start my revolution around. Does that make sense? Yeah. So some people like it at the beginning, at the end of a round, and then they have to slip stitch over, which you don't even see the slip stitch here. That's how pedestrian I am. So we're going to have to get through that and change the design to match what I prefer, because I'm the designer after the end. Do you have a video on how to make the picture design? I think I need to know how to make a pick design before I know how to write the instructions. The picture design, no, but if you go on to stitchfiddle.net or stitchfiddle something, you can actually do it there. There's instructions on how to make a picture design through there. So Stitchfiddle is who you're going to look up. I really like when people do GraphGAN work for pictures, but I don't enjoy the process. So I may have done it once or twice in my lifetime, but that's enough for me. So we're going to change out, and so these instructions are just here just because I want to kind of follow the base. And so we have how many chains to start? There's not even a slip stitch here. Oh my God, pathetic. So we're going to chain 4 and then join with slip stitch to beginning chain to form ring. So what I have to do is I have to go back up here, and I'm going to have to define some stitches. So skipping rounds, repeat. We're not going to use any back posts. We'll take those out. We're not using any single crochet. We are using spaces, chains, and beginning. And this one here, I think we'll just take that out and join with the slip stitch to the top of the beginning. I'm going to keep that. So what's going to happen then is that instead of having to write join with the slip stitch to the top of the beginning chain every time, I can just say join, and then the instructions will say join equals slip stitch to the top of the thing. So it actually saves words. So we want to be very careful on this kind of concept that we don't overload a crocheter with a lot of nonsense, right? And so happy birthday goes to Laura. Yeah. So Angela is going to be celebrating her birthday with us on the mystery. So let's go on to round number 3. So I'm going to change. I hate this idea of chaining 5, which equals a double crochet and chain 2 space. And you can see it in the diagram. It looks like sin as well. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to change that out, and we are going to state something different. So chain 3, 1 DC in ring. And then what we have to do is that we have to start doing a repeat from here, right? So we have to then put an asterisk, which is the repeat of where a repeat starts. And we are going to use chain 3 for the corners. Okay, so chain 3, and then we're going to put in 2 double crochet in ring. And we're going to repeat that how many times? So if we've done it the first time, so we did it here, so the repeat starts here. So we did it once, we did it twice, and we did it 3 times. And so what we're going to do, repeat from asterisk twice more. Let me verify that. So we have our chain 3, which will be right here, 1 double crochet in the ring, and then the repeat starts. So chain 3, 2 double crochet in ring, chain 3, double crochet in ring is repeat number 1, and chain 3, 2 double crochet into the ring, that's repeat 2. So repeat, so twice more, and then we just say chain. You know what we should do? We should redefine what the join is. No, we shouldn't. So that's just chain 3, join. That's all it is. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's kind of what we have here. Kelly, my friend Kelly is from my home friend here from home. She missed group last night because she was celebrating something. I know. Yeah. So amigurumi is spelled properly, and check out Stitch Fiddle. That's the best way to do it. It's a bit of a pain in the ass program, but it's the only one I really know. Okay, so let's move on to our second round, and our second round is nice and simple. Second round, and so we've moved our. Oh, you know what we should do to make this better so it doesn't cause the center to rotate? We need to change this. What we should do, let's redefine our join. The join should be join equals chain 1, half double crochet, join with half double crochet, join half double to the top of the beginning chain 3. So what is the difference between using a hyphen of chain 3 and using chain 3? Anybody know? So what's the difference between this? There's a difference. What is it? Chain 3 equals, and chain 3 equals. Anybody guess what it is? Anybody care? So what it is, chain 3, when it looks like this, it's action. You are to move your hook and do chain 3 on the project. When there's a hyphen in between, this is a location. Means to look or observe or use a location for the action. Okay, so, and is this, I wonder if the beginning of the round starts with 1 deep, then full repeats. So if we start with the beginning of 1 double crochet, we have to build it out, right? So if this is 1 double crochet, we have to chain 3 to start it. And the only way that you could do it the way that you're suggesting, that Jess is suggesting, is that if we made chain 2 and it doesn't equal a stitch, then you could literally do what she's suggesting, right? So what we need to do is that we're going to redefine the join. The join is a chain 1, half double crochet to the top of the chain 3. So this is a locator. It's not actually to physically do it. It's just telling you that it's going to be at the top. Right, so we have to do that. So we're going to repeat twice more, and then I just want to verify one more time. So 2, so there's the repeat right here. So it's chain 3. That's the first time it's said, and this is repeat 1, repeat 2, and then we say join. And that join, that way that we defined it, is going to actually, you know what, we just did that. Where did we just do that? We just did that on a sample. Where did we just do that? We just did it somewhere. What was it? It's the Modern Granny, I think. Yes, we just did that. So let me just, I'm just going to put in a little note here so that I remember myself. And so it's going to look like that. So we're going to, I'm just going to put a little note right here. And so this here would be what it would look like. So when we come out of a corner, we are going to chain 1 first, use a half double crochet, and that equals a chain 3 space. Right? We're going to move that guy up. And we'll redefine him later. Okay, so we're going to move on. And so we've now got the join. Press, fix 3 errors. So it doesn't like my abbreviations, but that's normal with crochet. So I got it. The chain 3 equals 1 double crochet, and 2 double crochet is the rest of the repeats. Correct. Got it. Second round, we're going to relook at the pattern. So we look at the pattern, and basically the corners in this really crappy thing is 2 double crochet, chain 3, 2 double crochet, and we're going to start right here. So we're going to chain 3, period, 1 double crochet in same beginning corner space. So that's that. And then we have 1 double crochet in each stitch to next corner, and the repeat starts here. So it'll be 2 double crochet. So because it's a corner and all of it's going in the same space, we have to put it into a bracket to keep it together. So 2 double crochet, period, chain 3, period, 2 double crochet in corner space. Then, because the repeat started right at this corner, we have to give the next instruction for the next side, and it's 1 double crochet in each stitch to next corner. And the reason why I'm not using double crochet instead, because in the future what's going to happen is that we're going to have chain 1 spaces or chain 2 spaces, and it's easier to start defining it as a stitch instead of a double crochet, because then it's going to get complicated later on in the pattern. So we're going to establish with the crocheter immediately that it's just going into each stitch instead of calling out what the stitch is below. Right? So that was our repeat. And so what we're going to do now is, because in the last round we just established that this is a square, we don't need to repeat give the instructions for the number of repeats. So we're just going to repeat from the asterisks around. And this will take you here to the last stitch right here. So the only thing that is missing is the word join. And so the join equals, actually, no, that's not correct. The only thing missing is that we got to finish that first corner. So 2 double crochet in beginning corner space, join. So we have to finish off because this is 1 double crochet to the next corner. So we have to finish this corner that we came around on. So 2 double crochet in the beginning corner space, join, which equals a chain 1, half double crochet to the top. So this is the only time this round is ever going to be solid double crochets across. And then the repeat of this pattern, I believe, starts here. So what I'm going to do for the crocheter is to leave a tip. Repeat of this fillet angle will begin on round 3. On, sorry, the 3rd round. It's going to be obvious in the instructions, but the more tips you can leave without, you know, a crocheter going squirrely is a good thing. So we're going to relook at the diagram now, and in the diagram it says on number 3 we got a corner, and then we're going to be skipping stitches, chaining 2, and more so. So what we have to do, we have to be very careful on this now, because actually, you know what? The repeat is actually not there at all. Son of a gun. The repeat is not there because the repeat instruction doesn't happen more than one time. So we can't define that this or this 3 or 4 is part of the repeat. So actually the repeat is number 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there, it looks like there's 4 rows that are repeat. So I'm going to write that down. Repeat is 5th to, so it's 4 rows. So 5, 6, 7, 8 to 8th rounds. Okay, so let's define the third round. So things are going to become very consistent here on the way things are written. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy it and just change it what I need to change. So the corner is always going to be the same that you start. It's always going to be the same when you finish, and it's always going to be the same on the corner itself. So what we have to do is we have to define what's going to happen on the side. So it's no longer this right here. It's no longer this. So we're going to have to repeat. So we're going to break it up into pieces. So 3rd round. In the 3rd round, we have, I have the sheet printed in front of me as well. So 3rd round, we have our corner. Third round, and we're going to skip we're going to just say first 2 stitches, chain 2, and then 1 DC in each stitch to next corner. We can't ever write that in a repeat because it's not showing you what to repeat. In the future. So the 3rd round cannot be a starting of a repeating of a section. Okay, so what we're going to do is that we're going to copy this and take it with us. We skip first 2 stitches, chain 2, 1 double crochet in each stitch to next corner. We get rid of this. Repeat from around 2 double crochet in the beginning corner, join. So 3rd round is done. 4th round. We're going to take that again and we're going to redefine it again one more time, but we're going to do it a few times. So we're going to get rid of that. The corner is going to stay the same. The ending is going to stay the same. So it's going to be what's in the middle gets us out. So number 3 is that you're going to one double crochet in first 2. You know what? I'm going to say next, not first. Next is better. Next will allow me to go into the future without having to define that if it was the first time or the second. So we're going to say 1 double crochet into the next 2 stitches. One double crochet in, or 2 double crochet in next chain 2 space. So we use the hyphen because it's a locator. We chain 2, skip next 2 stitches, 1 double crochet in each stitch to next corner. Okay, so this is number 4, so it's 1 double crochet into the next 2, 2 double crochet into the next chain 2 space, chain 2, this is a continuation of an instruction, chain 2, skip next 2 stitches, and 1 double crochet in each stitch to next corner. That's right. So we're going to get rid of that. So we're going to repeat from here, copy to the next corner, repeat, and join. Okay, so we're going to keep on moving, and so we're going to move on to the 5th round. And in the 5th round, we have in the beginning. Oh, son of a! There is not 4 rounds of repeating. Do you see that? It was 2 double crochet into the first, and then skip the first 2. That's the same. Is there actually only 2 rounds of repeating on this thing? Not 4. Am I missing something? I think I might be right. The 5th and the 3rd round are identical. The difference is that it's actually repeating. Okay, so the 5th round then is the same as the 3rd. The difference is that we cannot say 1 double crochet in each stitch to the next corner. We have to say what do we say? Let's just break this apart. So when you just break things apart so you can see it. This is the corner. This is the start out of a corner. Chain 3. We skip the next 2 double crochet, yes. We chain 2 and we double crochet we double crochet next four stitches, one double crochet in, or two double crochet, and next chain two space. So this is actually a repeat on a side. So we have to put it into brackets, repeat to next corner. And because it's saying there, we're not giving it a number, so therefore it can be used again over and over and over. So I think it might be, Rachel, I think it might be an alternative, like an alternating rounds. So let me just verify that in my head. So skip the next, okay, so we're going to double crochet, skip the next two, chain two, one double crochet into the next four stitches, yes, and two double crochet into the next chain two space. Repeat from the corner. So if I go back to here, skip the next two stitches, chain two, one double crochet in the next four. Oh, Jesus. Okay, that's a problem. The repeat is not right where I think it is. So the repeat is a problem here because this will end up, you'll end up filling in the corner space, but we've already put the corner in. So therefore you'll have two stitches left over. So the repeat is actually here. Okay, I have to think. I need to end the repeat after four stitches are in. The repeat actually starts here. Two double crochet into the next chain two space. So the repeat is there. That's the repeat. So we have to do it once on its own to establish, and then two double crochet into the chain two space, skip the two next two stitches, chain two, one double crochet into the next four, repeat two corner. And in this case it's number 5. There is no more repeating after that, which is fine. Oh. Is that fine? I almost think that we need to actually have a couple more rounds. So is this 5 or 6? If this was the 7th round, what would it be? I think we need 7th and 8th rounds in. So 5th, 6th, 7th. And the reason for it is that you run out of stitches. They're really, if I say repeat 2 corner, there is no more repeating on the 5th round. So we're going to get rid of this guy out. There will be, on the 7th round, next time this happens, there will be a repeat to the corner. So when this happens on the 7th round, it's going to look like this. Repeat this to the corner. That's accurate. So we just have to write the 6th round. Off to do laundry. I guess Kelly's off today. Oh, I think she's on holiday. Okay, so 6th round. 6 is the same as the 4th. So we're going to grab that and just start ripping it to shreds. Okay, so what do we got here? Chain 3, 1 double crochet the same as the beginning, 1 double crochet in the next 2. Two double crochet in the next chain 2 space. And this is the repeat right here. Chain 2, skip next 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet in next 4 stitches. Gee, I don't think that's it. You know, people take for granted this crap, eh? 2 double crochet in the next chain 2. I think it's here. We'll have to verify that in a bit. Okay, 2 double crochet into the next chain 2 space, chain 2, skip next to 1 double crochet in the next 4. So repeat from 2 corner. So if I was to repeat that again, so it'd be 2 double crochet in the next chain 2 space, chain 2, skip next 2 stitches, 1 double crochet in the next 4. That's right. And then we're going to take this, copy it, and get rid of that. I actually think that's it. So I think the repeat is numbers 6 and 7. And let's just put a little border on this thing, border. Let's define chain 1 single crochet in the same beginning corner space, 1 single crochet in each stitch and space to next corner. The repeat will start here, so it'll be 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet in corner space, 1 single crochet in each stitch and space to next corner. Repeat from around. 1 single crochet in beginning corner space, chain 2, join with slip stitch to beginning single crochet, fasten off. So let's just verify that. Okay, and I'm just going to take a few moments of a break, and I'll be right back in just a moment. Okay, so now what we're going to have to do at this point, this is page number 2. We're going to print page 2. Okay, so what we're going to have to do now to satisfy other people is that we're going to have to do this in a diagram format going forward. Save as. Okay, so we're going to remove this and we're going to add we're going to stop that screen and we're going to add a new screen. Okay, so now what we're going to have to do is that we're going to have to satisfy people, is that we are going to have to make this into a crochet diagram format. So this here, angle play, so we're going to get rid of certain things on this. This is, so what I do is I take an existing pattern and then we just start all over again. And we're going to begin. And we need, I like things in a certain order on my desk. And we're going to open up our file system. And so these are all the symbols that I'm going to need. And so we're going to need to start off with our center pieces and we're going to begin. So for those that have joined us in the past, what is the color of the first round in diagram format? Anybody know? Anybody care? It's always black. So the second color, if you're colorblind, you won't probably be able to see the difference, but the first one always has to be black. And we are going to start, and we need a guide to show us. So we're going to need a square guide here to give us the indication on how the stitches will work together. So we're going to grab the center and make it to the center. And we're going to need some double crochet. So we're going to get rid of him. And we're going to need some double crochet, and it also has to be black because it's the first round. So I don't know the size of the box until I get to where I need to go. So let's change the size of the box because he's going to be a guide. And in the layers that we're going to have, which I can't see, layers. There they are. So we're going to make him we're going to make him the guide. So we're going to move him to the guides so he can be invisible later, because the you will not see that at home when you're looking at the final. Okay, so he's going to be the guide, and we need to change the size so he matches there. And we determined that we needed chain 3 space corners. So we have those already completed. And so we don't worry about the ending of a round or beginning until near the part's done. The other thing that we're going to need is that we need the distance here. So we're going to grab this guy and look at the distance and match it. He's using my guide. Okay, so we're going to take this guy and this guy with us. So he's going to be the right distance. We're going to make the other side match. So we need to reflect him. Make a copy. They're together. So we have that. And the only difference that I need is that I need another copy of this in a different color for the other alternative brown. So these guys will be blue. And these guys will stay black. So knowing what we know now, this guy here, I can already see a problem with this. And the problem is that there's only 2 stitches in this first turn. These are too far apart from each other. So what I'm going to need to do is to reduce this guy down further, make him smaller, and see where I can take this guy down and see where I can go. The height of the stitch, okay, the height of the stitch is not a different definition. We just got to get our first one in. All right, take this guy. And so they look a lot more reasonable to each other. Okay, we'll make them taller. And we'll move them. So ideally, I would like it to be a lot closer to each other. Maybe something like that. But they're too tall. So let's just get it down a little bit smaller. Move these guys down. Look at that. Okay, and everything will misalign if I don't line these things up properly. So I'm going to move him over and him over, because these guys are going to be the ground zero markers to start this whole shebang off. Okay, so now what we need to do is that we need to point this guy on an angle towards the center. And the reason why we do that is that if we leave them straight down onto something, it usually says that when you do that in diagrams that you have to use the actual chain itself and not the space. And so by going down on angles like that, it defines that better. And now we're going to get rid of this guy because we know the distance is right. And we're going to rotate this guy around. But before we do, we might want to move him to the first round. And rotate them around the access point. And there you go. So there's first round. So look at the height there. It's a little off, eh? Oh, he's not in the center. I'm going to just move him slightly. I'm cheating totally. Okay, so that was round number 1. And I'm verifying it with the words as I go. So 1 double crochet in the ring, 2 double crochet. Okay, number 2 is going to be a double crochet to the corners. So we're going to go on to and grab blue. So blue is always round number 2. So it's nothing but double crochets and chains, really. And so we're going to get the height back to where I would like it to go. So the regular height, we just needed to get our first established, and we need to make this guy bigger to the height. He's going to be a blue guy, so we need a blue. Take it to the corner. And we need the other blue. So we're taking the down line with us because that's going to define the first stitch out of the corner and the last stitch. In this case, there's how many stitches? There's 6. So if we have 6 stitches and there's already 2 here, 6 minus 2 equals 4. So we're just going to do a stepping number of steps, and there's going to be 4 steps in between. And then Control Alt B. And so those are the stitches there. And so we're going to move these guys over. The distance between each one is exactly the right distance that we need. And so we're going to just copy them in pairs. And before I do that, I'm going to get rid of this guy out and move it over. So you see the distance is the same. And so because of the height difference, they're not lined up perfectly with each other, which is why we want to lean them in a bit. And because this is a corner, we just want to kind of lean them in a little bit more. And we want to stay out of the center point of the corner. So we're always off to the side just a little bit. So in crochet diagrams, when you're reading these things, Yarn Inspirations and myself, because we follow the same standard between each other, we always read the crochet diagrams in a counterclockwise position, except for when it's not. So the counterclockwise position is considered the right side of the work, and when we read it the other way, it's considered the wrong side. Okay, and now we're going to move these guys out and move this to layer number 2. And we're going to rotate that around. So the thing I want to do before I go too far is that I want to start recording notes so that I can keep an eye on the counts. So I'm just going to need some stuff over here. And the customer you will not see it. So we got 2, and then we have 6. And we're going to rotate that around. I'm going to put this in a different color so I don't forget to take it out later, because you're not supposed to see that. I'm using that for the number of steps that I need to do in order to do repeats in the diagram format drawing. Okay, and we're going to rotate that around the center point. 360 degrees divided by 4 pieces of pie gives you the number. Okay, and we're going to move move these guys up and out of the way. So I'm going to take these guys over here, and these guys will stay here, and we'll move on to round number 3. So we need black to go with us. And I'm only positioning it there for the height. And it's just a guess on how far the distance is. We make this bigger so we can see it. And then we are going to move the black guys pieces, corners over. Okay, we'll move the black guy over here. So if we had 6 this time and we're increasing by 2 the next time that we have it, there should be 10. And I'm recording that because I need to figure out the number of steps in between the corners. So if there's 10, these are considered part of 10. So now it's going to be a total of 8 steps. And then Control-Alt-B as in boy. Okay, so we're going to start defining these stitches. And now what's going to happen, it's going to get a little bit more complicated because we need to start leaning over the stitches to perfectly line up with each other. So I'm not necessarily putting in the chain spaces yet because I want these to line up first. So what I need to do is that these guys, see how they're leaning? And these guys don't line up. I need these guys to lean ever so perfectly because these guys here are equally spaced. So I need to equally lean these guys into the direction that it needs to go. So when you do a specified step, this thing will continue to rotate to get the right angle. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to take these guys and we're going to have them step by 4 because there's 4 stitches that are missing. And it's going to cause them to go on the perfect angle to go into position. Do you see that? It matches. And before we go any further, we need to expand this to get them to be separate from each other. And then we need to ungroup. Because this is the first one, this is number 3. These guys are missing. So we're going to need some chain work. We need to total 2. And so there, that's what it looks like. Okay, this guy goes out. These guys get out. These guys go to layer number 3. I assume you can create templates using your own personal tastes or projects. You can do. You have to stay within crochet. You have to stay within a standard. So what I've done, Marcia, is that I have defined my own standard as far as the heights. So all the heights are matching each other because I took a ruler and I measured based on 3 different books that I found to get the right distance between the points and then to make them all match each other. So that, yes, so there are standards, but then there is your own personal thing. So what's wrong here is that I forgot to move out the outside. if you don't follow the standard of crochet, what happens is somebody buys your book or buys your pattern and you are speaking a different language than everybody else. So you have to stay within the standard of crochet or your book is pretty much pointless, because it means that you're talking in terms that people don't necessarily understand. So these crochet symbols, for example, are standard. The easiest way to do these crochet symbols is not to tilt that middle piece right that you see. And because they tilt it, it makes it impossible to do like a reflection, because they tilt in the wrong direction. They always have to tilt in the right direction. Okay, we're going to rotate that around. Yeah, so Rita caught me with the leaning. Okay, so that was round number 3. I'm just going to put that was round 3 because I'm going to have more rounds and it's going to get confusing. Okay, so next time we go, we're going to have an extra 4 stitches. So we're going to have 14 this time. So 14 is the number. And we need to grab a blue one for us this time. And we put it in just to look at the height. If you're a beginner and the fact that you realize that it wasn't tilted in, like that's a big deal, you know, right? Like that's something that you're observing that would be a problem. So the fact that as a beginner that you saw that is a great thing. It means that you're learning how to read these things. So that's a good thing. Also keeps me on my toes. Okay, we're going to put the blue in. Okay, so there's 14, so this means that there's got to be 12 steps in between these two because that's included in the number 14. So 12 steps. There is my stitches. And we're just going to move. So we always need to do the first 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And then we can take this 3 because they're exactly the right distance from each other. We're going to move those over to the other side. Now he's almost perfect, and so is he, but he's just slightly off, so I am going to tilt him a bit. People probably will never notice, but I noticed. So we're going to tilt this guy more towards the center, just ever so slightly. You never know, people zoom this stuff in, it gives them a reason to complain. Just ever so slightly. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we have to determine how many are there. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need 8 of these guys. Repeat objects. So we're going to blend it and make 8. Eight of them. And Control Alt B as in boy or ball. And in this case, we got the first 2 in. So these guys are missing. So we need to expand these guys to release the hold on them. So we need to expand and we need to ungroup them from each other. And these guys are gone. And we need some blue chain work. at that. That angle is wrong. I wonder if my square is off. Okay, and then we need to tilt in our quarter, or Rita's going to have my head. So those are just guesses on where they're pointing to. But these corners will be replaced with a new symbol on the beginning and corners of this pattern anyway. So this one we don't need any longer. So you read 2 double crochets in each chain edge. That's right. So the chain, so there's 2 double crochets into, oh, you know what? You were right. You know what? Do I fix that? Rita, you're making my life hell. I think you're right. So Rita's brought up a really good point. Not that anybody's paying attention, but if they were paying attention, Rita's telling me, and she's a new crocheter, so actually that's the wrong one to delete. It's this one right here. So this one here, because it's going straight down into the chain work, it's telling you as a person that is not reading instructions that you're putting the stitches into each chain, but you're using a chain space. Such a good eye, Rita. You got to go slightly off like that for that to work. She's the new crocheter. Oh, she's a beginner and she recognized that. It's a sin. If it goes straight down to the middle of the chain, it means that you're actually using the chain, but you're not. You're using a space. Look at her go. So that's kind of the thing about standards, right, of crochet. Got to watch that stuff. Good thing Rita's here today. I might have screwed that up. It's kind of like The Devil Wears Prada, where they're in the boardroom. At least somebody came to work today. Okay, so that was round number 4. You probably didn't know that, but because of the way that you said it, it's like you were right. Like, but the written patterns are trying to read code. Right, reading written patterns are not fun. The feline overlord servant. Jesus. The feline order overlord servant. I love it. I love it. I don't know where people come up with names like that, but I love it. It's true in my house too. Okay, so we're going to move on to your 5th round. And we're going to move that guy out of the way, but take it with us as well. So he ends up becoming black. I'm a slave for my cats. I know I am too. If you're looking for 2, I'm happy to. I live to serve them, apparently. And I'm not happy about it either. For me, it's not so much that they wake me up at night, it's the licking of my fingers in the middle, and I absolutely hate it. Okay, so if there was 14 stitches last time and there's 2 in the growth, that means that there's going to be 16, there's going to be 18 stitches. And these 2 are equaling part of the 18, so 18 minus 2 equals 16. And there's my stitches. I had a complaint from a lady yesterday. I assume it's a lady, it's a female name. And she was all upset that I basically showed a pattern on how to start it. But then I'm like, well, just repeat the rounds number 2 and 3 and you'll be good to go for the remaining. And she was so upset that I never did the whole blanket. Can you imagine filming the same 2 rounds for like 50 times? Oh my God. Must have just stabbed out my eyes. Okay, so now we're going to count the number of stitches we need. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I have 12 of these guys. Anyway, I'm like, whatever. So anyway, I have to apologize to her because that's just what I have to do. And anyway, I'm like, the whole point of the tutorial is to show you how to do it. And then you can reverse back the tutorial. But no, I have to film it 50 times. Never going to happen in my lifetime. Never. So any pattern that calls for stitching into chains, I automatically use the chain space. So do I. I know. Nobody's got time for that. Except for if it really does matter, but most times it really doesn't, from what I've been able to tell. But nobody's got time for digging into those stitches if you don't have to. As they used to say on in Living Color, homie don't got time for that. Homie don't play that game. Something like that. Something with homie. I don't know. Am I trying to sound cool? I might be. Okay, we're going to take this guy over because he's pretty much the same. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And so these guys are out. So the repeat is actually starting here, which is what I assumed when I started writing the pattern. You can see it twice happening. Okay, and yeah, homie don't play that. And then I need the sock with the rock in it. Can you imagine? That might be a fun activity for a crochet retreat. I'll carry that sock with me if anybody asks me any questions. Just bop them over the head with it. Then call 911. We actually, it wasn't our retreat, but I was on a retreat where a woman seriously injured herself. She slipped in the bathtub in her hotel room. Oh my God. So anyway, the next thing we know, we have no idea. Class has already started. She's not shown up. Nobody knows that she's missing. And anyway, somebody comes frantically into the room, and there's an ambulance outside of the room that we can see. And we're like, what's going on? So anyway, the woman goes out. But anyway, she had slipped in the bathtub, and anyway, I think she was really quite injured. I think she landed on her ribs on the hump of the tub. Gross. Yep. We had another, we actually had an accident on one of our own retreats as well. Um, anyway, I was actually really pissed off with the hotel over it. So anyway, this woman, one of our guests, comes down, and I'm always an early riser, and she's up. And anyway, there's a trail of blood from the lobby elevator to the room, to the front service desk, and the woman is hobbling, and so I noticed that, and I saw the blood, and I'm like, holy shit! And so she's got a towel wrapped around her feet, her one foot. And anyway, so she asked the front desk for medical help, and she goes, "My foot is bleeding." And so the woman behind the desk doesn't even look at the injury and doesn't even like peek over to see what's going on, and like literally goes back and gets her a little bandage. And so our guest is saying to the person, says, "I think I need more than a bandage. I think I actually need to go to the hospital." And so the woman doesn't look over the desk, and she says, "Well, just take a bandage, just wrap it up, put some cold, press it on it." And so I turned to this woman. I said, "You need to look at this thing." So anyway, the bellhop guy what noticed that she was limping and coming over, and he literally went to the back room, grabbed his coat and his car keys, and literally grabbed this woman and took her to the hospital. So but it was like the woman behind the service desk would not peek over to see what was going on, and it was bad. Anyways, she had injured herself. Actually, it's another shower story. She had injured herself on the shower, and she cut open her foot, like that needed stitches. It was bad. But anyway, I was kind of pissed off with the hotel. Like, just look over the desk and see what's going on. Assess the situation. Just don't throw a bandage. But the bellhop guy was like amazing. I'm like, anyway, deserved a big tip for that, honestly. And I don't handle blood really well, so I'm like, not great. Okay, so these fillets are moving up on an angle, just like you see. So what do we got here? 6 and 7. So maybe she could have at least peeked over and realized that it's more than a bandage. So anyway, they had to take a mop and stuff because the guy rushed her in her nightgown to the hospital. The cleaning services had to do the blood all the way from the front services to the elevator, on the elevator, and then through the hallway to a room, and then to a room to clean it. It's gross. But I don't think she needed an ambulance. I just think she needed somebody to take her to the hospital for sure. But yeah, it's gross. But yeah. So anyway, I'm not going to let her off the hook, Wendy. You're trying to be practical. I'm not going to do that. Homie, don't play that today. If you don't know, Wendy actually works for me, so I can be a little bit more direct with her. Don't worry, she knows how to give it back too. We're kind of like brother and sister in that way. She needed Chris to take charge. Who's Chris? The guest just needed somebody to advocate for her, but the bellhop, he was actually an older guy. It was actually in New Orleans this happened. He was just great. Like, just he just saw the situation. He didn't even ask to leave. He just said, "I got my keys. Let's go." Like, that's a great guy right there. Okay, my hero from Tahoe, Chris. Oh, Chris. Yeah. Yeah, we won't talk about that. This is the most interesting thing I've seen on YouTube in a very long time. You deserve that validation, but at the same time, I feel like I shouldn't admit it. I don't know what that means. So did anyone make an official complaint regarding the person at the server desk? No, we did not. Honestly, what are you going to do? You can complain all you want. They're just going to yeah. But I don't think the woman should have been fired or reprimanded. It was just maybe just a little tap on the shoulder, say, when a guest is asking for medical help, that they actually are a little more serious about it. So, okay, so we're making art. Okay, so these are the same distance of each other, so we can take those over with us to the other side. These are looking pretty close to lining up, but again, I'm probably just gonna give them a little bit of a zhish, gate up a little bit, just move them ever so slightly because the consumer is probably never even gonna notice. But I know. I'm anal retentive that way. So I filmed a tutorial yesterday. I got to edit yet. Actually, you know what? He's pretty close. Anyway, it's a crochet bag. I can actually show you what it looks like. Where is it? Where did I put it? Oh, it's a crochet bag. It was using the Bernat Maker Splash yarn. Anyway, I just filmed it really quick. So anyway, I'm going to have a tutorial available for that later today. It'll be on the Journey membership for a while. And then when there's more time in the schedule, then I'll put it to regular people. So there's a monthly subscription level of our YouTube channel, which allows them to have backstage pass to anything that's in queue waiting to go to the public. But YouTube has this silly rule where you don't publish more than one piece of content every 24 hours. So there is a lot of content that's been prepared. So even if I were to film what I'm making on screen today, it won't be available for a few weeks because there's the scheduling is already busy. It's already full of stuff. Okay, so we got that. And so how many rounds is there? So where there's just going to be number 6. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I got 16. So you shouldn't admit that making a crochet pattern. You know what really bothers me is that you get people that are just absolutely demanding patterns to be made, and I don't think they realize that some poor fool like me is actually doing the work to make it happen. So, and it's not necessarily an easy process. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So So I'm a little bit confused on what the future of crochet looks like, to be quite honest with you. I have not discussed this with Wendy, but I'm here. I might as well talk to you about it. So the problem with crochet right now is that the whole industry is completely upside down. And I want to ungroup. And one of the reasons for it is that the new AI that has been around for years is now really starting to take a hold in the industry. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but what is a bad thing for us is that if you go and ask AI to give you a pattern for a certain type of stitch, AI will tell you what it is without ever having to go to a real website for it. And so I've been seriously questioning my own mortality in this industry. Is that if AI can actually tell a crocheter the steps, step 1, 2, 3, 4, then is there a need for a crochet designer going forward, right? And I say that with respect, that I think AI is a great tool, but what this is going to eliminate, and this is just my opinion, you can agree to disagree, is that it is going to eliminate the designers that are not going beyond just the actual standards of crochet of stitching, but will force designers to really get outside the box where a computer cannot always puzzle stitches together. So for example, this kind of thing, probably AI could probably have done this as far as writing the pattern. And so I'm in process at this time to create a brand new website for the Crochet Crowd because we've become damaged. And we're damaged because we have a lot of duplicate content from a lot of sources, because I'm like a hub. The Crochet Crowd, if you were to ask me as a business partner, is a bus station. And in the bus station, people transfer in the bus station from one bus to another. So they'll come into the Crochet Crowd and they'll look for a pattern that I've suggested from one of our sponsors. And I use the same photography and I give my own little thing to it. I might film a tutorial, but I use the same imaging. And because I'm using the same imaging, AI classifies me as spam. And unfortunately, the website is damaged because I've done it too many times. And though that used to be the way that the industry worked, it's no longer working that way. So anyway, what this is going to do for me personally is that it has to make me be more creative in the sense of puzzling stitches, doing a lot more research on finding stitches that are not so common that AI would not identify to make our website relevant. And anyway, so that's been my biggest challenge. So I'm in process now recreating a new website. I contracted a designer, a web designer, for the very first time because I've been doing it myself for all these years. And so I contracted one out of the United States to help me, and it'll probably release by Christmas time of this year. So it's going to be, the Crochet Crowd still going to be around, but there's going to be a secondary site for us to work with. And so that is currently in the process. My problem is that I don't know how to define myself. I don't know what I don't know what defines me as a person to make a secondary site. And so I've been in a lot of soul searching lately, almost a depressive sense of trying to figure out where I belong, not just in the industry, but in the world. Like, do I have a sense of purpose if I stay within the crochet at all? And I don't plan on leaving the industry because honestly, I live in a village and I'm the idiot that lives here. I live in a very small village, and there's not much for me as a person in my region of the world if I was to quit and do something different. It's like my last town that I came from, Ontario. You literally got to hope somebody's going to die so somebody gets a job. It's kind of the same in this area too. So I've been kind of perplexed by that. So anyway, so I have some, so I've been doing a lot of brainstorming for what defines me as a person, but I have not figured out what the keywords would be for that. And so then the website development is going to be quite costly, but, and to do a resurgence of something new. And do I think it's worth it? I think it's worth it for myself in order to, for myself to stay employed. Anyway, that's what's kicking around in my head. Is purpose necessary? I think, honestly, I define my life as a sense of purpose. When I have serious depressive states, I lose a sense of purpose and I lose a sense of goals. So I learned in high school that if I don't have goals in my life, I literally will go off the edge. Personally speaking, just my mental state is broken. And if I don't have goals, I am a broken person. So I have to have a sense of purpose for myself to be able to function. And it really surprises me when I hear from people and they don't have that sense of goals or a list of accomplishments they want to get through. Because for myself, I can't ever imagine myself not having a list of goals and concepts that I would like to try before I'm dead. So I'm going to be 52 this year. And so I'm already in the processes of end of life planning. I actually never thought I would ever get to that moment, in the sense of what does the remaining of my time look like, because I'm 52. You know, I still got many years, but the chances of me surviving for like a million more years is unlikely. So I've been in the process of trying to figure out what my ending is going to look like. So I got 20. So anyway, and that includes retirement. I don't think I'm ever going to have money to retire, but it includes retirement. My mom is 75, I think. Yeah, she's 75. She is still working, but she doesn't have the ability to retire. And because of that, it's just absolutely sickening. And I think I'm going to be in the same position as her. Is that depressive or is that depressive? Is that depressive? Is that I don't even know. And part of the preparation for end of life, to go into that area, is that Daniel and I both have agreed not to run a funeral for either of us, and for both of us just to be cremated at the end, and to be done. And the reason why I'm doing that is that because money's tight now while we're living, the fact of running a funeral and the whole 9 yards to put the other partner in a financial distress does not make sense financially. So that's kind of where I am in my head. So I've been told by several people that you need a funeral for people that have closure, but then I'm at the point where, is the closure making sense if the person that's left behind is the one that is going to be in trouble financially because they can't afford to move forward? And to me, that does not make sense. So anyway, I'm very methodical with my purpose. And I think my legacy in life will be actually the ability to do these diagrams because these diagrams go global. They don't need to know English in order to use them. And the amount of people that have used my diagrams over the years has been really quite personally rewarding for me. So anyway, feline overlord servant is doing the exact same thing because I don't want my son being left with the financial burden. I know, I don't even know, what is the cost of a funeral? I don't even know. Let me Google that while I'm here. What is the cost of a Canadian funeral in 2025? The cost of a Canadian funeral is between $5,000 to $10,000 Canadian, so that's 7,000 US. Another one, the average cost of a funeral in Canada is eight to 9,000, but largely depends on a variety of factors such as your province's rules and regulations. Basic printed materials for memorials, $200. Metal casket for burials, 2,500. Funeral with viewing and burial is $8,300. The vault that your casket will go into is $1,700. That does not sound exciting. Cremation cost by province for as a cremation memorial service, the average cost for a cremation funeral can vary, but it's now between $5,000 to $12,000. To light a match? No way. Affordable cremation services in Canada. Nova Scotia is not on the list. Give me a break. Give me a butane lighter and let's go. It's party time. It takes 72 hours to cremate an elephant. So what are you saying there, Wendy? There's an Adam ruins everything on funerals and the businesses behind it. Is that a host? Anyway, so I've been kind of at the point in my life. I'm just, what does the ending look like? Just a fun fact that I seemed on topic. There's certain topics, Wendy, that I really hate on the Instagram reels and all of those things. I hate seeing anything whales or elephant related on that stuff. It just really upsets me a lot. Oh, Wendy's got me the link. why funerals are a ripoff? So Jet One has always had a hard time with death. I do too. Don't ever invite me to a funeral because I won't go. I don't even know why. It just is. And I think in retrospect, because I don't want a funeral. If I can't go to a funeral, why would I have a funeral for myself? Right? I don't even know why. I don't. My thing is that I don't want to see the person dead. I'd rather remember the person when they were alive, and not the final memory of them lying in a box. I just don't want that. Ugh, nightmare. Okay. So I think I got that solved. So what I'm going to do, that was the 7th round, and that's going to be the end of the repeat. So we're going to make these guys all black. They should have been in the first place. Black. 7th. Well, this is fun. A fun live to tune into. Yeah. Some scummy places mark up everything when the person has died there in shock and grief and charge a lot more. You know what? Almost like pet services are the same way. Daniel gets suckered in when he has to put down a cat. And they ask him if he wants the paw print for $40 and he'll never say no. I have a story about that though. So we have to put our cat down. It's not great. It's just, this is going back several years. So anyway, we had to put the damn cat down, and the cat has developed this major cancer tumor that is the size of a golf, like a baseball, like a big ass, you know, what's that, softball, huge. And anyway, so the vet says, well, you know, you can prolong the life. You know, we can give the cat water because it stopped eating and drinking. And so we went through a few procedures and determined that it's better that the cat goes, right? So anyway, so we know that the vet is going to ask us to prolong things and maybe give us more suggestions, and we're probably not going to say no because you love the cat. And anyway, so we have to wait for the vet to open, and they have our cat. And so anyway, we start practicing in the Tim Hortons line, because the line was out through the ass because it was huge. And so we start practicing in the line of any possibility of anything the vet is going to say to us to help us prolong the cat's life. We just want the cat to get the needle, game over, done. And anyway, so we were practicing in line. And so we were coming up with every scenario that the vet is going to say to us. You know, do you want the paw print for $40? And so I say that to Dan, do you want the paw print? No. And I said, you better hold strong. And I said, what if the vet, do you want some blood work done? No. And so anyway, so we're criticizing the damn vet because we know we're going to get suckered in. It's just a matter of what it's going to be. And anyway, we went on and on and on. So anyway, so then this person turned around that was in front of us, and Daniel saw the person, and he went white as a ghost, and he starts sharing with the person about the cat. And I don't know who the person is. And so he said, yeah, she's a good cat, the whole 9 yards. And he talked to her for like 5 minutes about our damn cat. And I'm like, I don't understand why he's talking to a stranger in the first place and why he's discussing our cat, because it's a personal matter. And anyway, so she goes up to the cash register to order her coffee. And I said, I don't understand what's going on. I said, do you know that person? And he says, she's the vet. She had been standing in front of us for 15 minutes of us rehearsing of any possibility of trying to upsell us in services and listening to us rehearse all the possibilities that was going to come out of her mouth. Oh my God. And I'm like, anyway, we both squealed. It was awful. Anyway, so we never recognized her because we've only ever seen her in the vet clothing. I've never seen her outside of vet clothing. And anyway, it was bad. Oh God, bad. Yeah, there's no saving yourself from that shit once that happens. It was bad. Anyway, I laughed thinking about it because it was bad. Because when we put our cat down before that happened, and so we had history with this vet that they are going to upsell, and the vet says to Daniel near the end as the needle's knocking out the cat, and the first time. And as the cat's lights are almost out, the vet says to Daniel, "She was a good cat." And Daniel bawled. I'm like, oh my God. And so that we talked in the car after he consoled himself, and then you got to stand there and pay the damn bill, like as you're just an absolute wreck, which is horrible. So we learned on the second cat that you pay in advance so that you can just leave at the end of it. And so he said to her, she was such a good cat, and he was devastated. And in the end, that cat was not a good cat. It was 24. The cat was known in the neighborhood for being the bully. No other cat liked our cat. She was not a good cat. But it was just the timing. It was like, oh my God. So all the cats in our neighborhood thought she was a bully. She was. Anyway. So when we showed up to the vet, we pretended that she had heard nothing. Because what are you going to do at that point? But she did not try to upsell us on nothing. It was great. Oh, yeah. Some places let you pay when you pick up the ashes, or they opt to do that. Yeah. Yeah. So Marcia said she cried more when my dog died than when I got a divorce. Well, usually a divorce is a sense of relief. It's over. A pet is more, um, you know, a pet could shit on your bed and used to be okay. But once your partner starts diddling with others, there's no coming back from that. It took me years to get over my last relationship issue. Years. I was just angry. Very angry. Unhealthy angry. Okay, so this is the border that's going in so that people can have the option. So the pet deaths can hit harder. They totally can. Absolutely, I agree with that, 100%. When my grandfather died, and don't say condolences or whatever, because I was really young. I think I was probably about 9 or 10. It didn't make a difference for me. Like, I wasn't upset about it because I really didn't know the guy so much. So some people handle death in very different ways. You know what? I just might type in the word last. Or end. End is only 3. Okay, so these are the round numbers. So what we're missing, we can get rid of these numbers out. You don't need to see these at home. And then the other thing that we need to do is we need to turn. Oh, it's on the same one. It's over here. We need the corners that look like this. Let me just grab them, drag them with me, check them over. So now we have to define our corners, our beginnings and our endings. So Jet says that the grandparents died and the same thing, really didn't care about me. I never had a close relationship with my extended family at all. So when somebody tells you they're dead, they're like, okay. I've actually been more rocked about some of the people that I've met in the crochet world, especially people that have been on our retreats. I have been more rocked in the sense of those people dying than I have with my own close people around me. So we're changing out our beginnings. So it's a chain 1, half double crochet to the top, and this will keep then the balance. So we're going to get rid of these guys out. We just got to keep them in the same color for each other. And because this has all been perfectly aligned, you can just slide it up on a 45 and they match every time. And same with these guys. Oh, Karen's looking for me. Okay, so what's missing? Okay. I guess somebody moved up the list on the waiting list for a Nova Scotia trip. Okay, let's grab our. We need a slip stitch for the ending. Okay, so what we're missing is the beginnings of all of these. So these guys got to come out. The beginnings. So when I first started learning how to do this stuff, I would worry so much about the beginnings and the endings, and then all the alignment was always out. So what I had to realize in time is that you don't focus on the beginnings and endings at all. You do that at the end. And that guy's got to be blue. Because the chain work is not as thick at the top, so therefore the alignment always looks wrong when you're trying to do that. Okay, this guy has to be black. So if you hold down certain keys, it drags the item with you, but takes a copy of it out. And then we need a chain 1 for there. So we need this guy right here. This guy out. So we need a chain 2 at the end to finish that off. And then we're going to take the guide out. So I always leave the guide in later if I ever have to go back and edit anything. And this would be that pattern in diagram format itself. So what we're missing is the stitch key. So people are going to need the stitch key with what the symbols were. I think I might put it right beside it halfway through. So we have to look at the symbols and what we have. Half double crochet join, yes. Slip stitch, yes. That's out. And so we need to align these up to each other and move them up. And that's it, done. Save our work. So tell her that you're spending time with your other friends. Yeah. So Tian Jenny, the death of her dog, John Wick, upset me more than all the humans. Oh, it totally would. Daniel's already crying about Salty and Puppy Dog. We have 2 Great Pyrenees, as probably most of you know. The lifespan is very short because it's such a big dog. So he's actually already been quite emotional about the ending already. And I'm like, those dogs still have a few years left. Puppy Dog's near the halfway mark already. And it's interesting just looking at a photograph of her just 2 years ago and how different she looks today. It's really quite astounding. Okay, so we're going to need a copy of this to take it with us. So this is what the customer will see. So we're going to take this with us. So I'm going to do for the downloadable, I'm going to do 2 different ones. And for the website version, I'm going to need a full, I'll put both together. Okay. Okay, so we're back to our other screen. Out. A crochet diagram. So for the customer, you will need, we'll give you guys a big copy of it here. We'll give you the stitch key separately. And we'll put that on the same page. And so, because I have not done a real sample of this yet, I don't have any information to share. So we don't know what yarn I'm going to use. So I'm going to have to do a real sample of this stuff. All right, something smart here. Photograph. And that can come out now because we defined that here, and we're going to add the word instructions. And we're going to take him out. And I'm going to add in a page break there so it automatically breaks, so it's always on a fresh page with the diagram. You know, honestly, this would just take me, I could just make this as a sampler. I'll think about it. Okay, so it's already 1:30, and are you going to let him do another dog? Yeah, I think it probably would. Honestly, it's better around here. We live in the country. So Lesia is asking for help, but we don't know what that is. So I don't know what to say to that. Okay, so I'm going to take off now and have a quick lunch break. I got to get Karen some information. Somebody else is actually looking for information as well. And I will be back later tonight. We have loose ends with a mystery guest tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern. And that is where it's going to be finishing today. Okay, and that's it. We'll see you.